and welcome back to episode 2 of Grand Haven County. I am super excited to get back to work and to keep building this terrific county and see where it takes us. Today we've got a lot on the agenda, so I don't want to waste any more time getting into it, but let's just start off first with expanding our road layout. Alright, so here we have this giant open area where I plan to have the main downtown of this city be located. Now we are going to be sticking to more of a grid-like road infrastructure so that we can have those awesome 90-degree angles so that we can get some of those corner buildings in and really make this city look very alive and well lived in. But first, I want to start just expanding upon the road layout that we do already have. So I want to begin expanding out from these roads over here, and we're just going to bring them out as far as we want, and then we're just going to keep going and bring them out, making sure that we've got that good 90-degree angle on this collector road so that these roads stay parallel. Okay, right now, as you can see, this is not going to be the most perfect grid, but it's going to be a grid nonetheless. I'm not trying to go for perfection really in this city. I want it to feel more developed, and I want it to kind of just go where it goes and, you know, not try and make it so precarious and very well thought out. And I do want there to be lots of planning. A lot of planning is going to be going into the city, but I don't want it to seem like it's been all like some sort of mastermind project. I want it to be a little bit more realistic and a little bit more lived in, as I said before. So we're going to continue just bringing these roads across. Right here I have this big collector road. It's gonna come up over here on the outside of this little hills and go towards this other inlet that we've got over there. But we're gonna be doing that at a later date because I want to finish doing the cross streets of this grid. Now I don't want these cross streets to be super close to one another. I want to give the downtown a little bit more space so that there is not just an intersection every 5 feet, which I find is pretty annoying a lot of the times when you always have to like stop and go. So I'm just going to be giving them a little bit more space so that we can also fit some bigger buildings in here too. And of course, if we ever want to put something in here that needs an adjustment to the road layout, we can always do that as well and always just kind of readjust these roads. But for now, we've got this huge grid that we've got going on. I think it's perfect. I think it looks pretty good so far. We're gonna finish connecting these cross streets up to this main collector road, and then I'll be right back with you. Alright, here is the somewhat finished downtown road layout. You can see we've got this really nice grid pattern with a lot of what is going to be expanding into the suburbs and having this really awesome waterfront housing right here. So before I get into zoning in the downtown area, getting some business, some industries in, I want to continue zoning some more residential and get some more people in here. We're currently sitting at 145 people, which really isn't that much. And in order to have a lot of big booming businesses, I want to make sure that we have enough people to work there. So without further ado, let's get right into zoning. Okay, now that we've got some more housing being zoned in, I want to focus on getting some more services in. Right now we need a crematorium and we need schooling. So we need to place down an elementary school and possibly a high school. I want to get those down so that we can start getting our citizens educated, and that we can start having educated people work in our businesses, and then we can start making a lot more money. So first off, let's get this small elementary school up in here. I think that I want to keep it in somewhat of a centralized location. So I think I'm going to be placing it right here in this block. We're going to be placing it right here on this street. And then we're going to be giving it a parking lot as well, so that we can make sure that the teachers have enough parking. And I want to try and fit something in this too wide space. Let's see if there's anything that we have available. And then we're just going to go with this, and we're going to be placing it on this corner. We're going to be filling in the gaps with some pathways, and we're just going to be like making this look really nice. So obviously, being at this stage, we don't really have the ability to place any actual parks yet, but we are just going to make this area look nice with our pathing, and we're just going to try and come up with some cool designs to make it a little bit more visually interesting for our pedestrians, so that even if you don't go to this school, you'll still want to come here and, walk along the paths, take a little stroll, have a little fun, do a little recreational activities. Now we're just going to be getting some trees in here that are lining the path, creating some nice vegetation, some greenery, so that people will want to come visit and come walk around. Okay, so here is the finished school. We've got the parking lot, and then of course we got the elementary school with a bunch of trees and pathways leading all around it for easy accessibility. I think it looks pretty good. I can't wait to add maybe a park in this plot area, or even nearby once we unlock that, but for now I think it's looking pretty good. So let's continue on to building the crematorium. Okay, so before we get into actually placing the crematorium, I did end up deleting one of these roads and relocating the medical clinic as well. I was thinking that we could make this block a little bit of a medical campus, basically. So we're going to be having a medical clinic. I'm thinking once we also get more population in here, we'll be including some sort of a bigger hospital type building. But before that, I want to now actually place the crematorium. We're just going to be using the regular one, and we're going to be putting it right on Elmhurst Street along with the medical clinic. And now, because we have got that in, we need to create a parking lot. I want to do this medium parking lot so we can provide ample parking spaces. We might even need to kind of maybe use this block as part of the medical campus as well, because this doesn't seem like it would be a lot of space. So maybe we can put some office buildings in here for like the corporate side of everything, but over on this side we can maybe put the hospital. Now that we've got the crematorium placed, I want to move on to our next project in this episode, which is going to be creating the water management / electricity facility complex. As talked about in the previous episode, I am thinking about creating this complex over on this side of the region. We have these little inlets and these bays, which would be perfect to create a very simple but visually appealing complex that could look really, really cool. So my thoughts were combining both the water management and the electricity services in this huge complex and creating one big complex to provide the whole area, because right now we are importing electricity, which is eating up at our budget right now, and we are very much running out of money. So I want to make sure that we are going to start making money so that we can continue building and grow the city even further. So let's just get right into it and start building this complex, starting with the road infrastructure. Okay, before we actually get into building the road infrastructure, I want to make sure that we have the right kind of landscape for this project before we do any type of road building. So I really want to define these peninsulas and the terraforming as well, maybe flatten the land a little bit and make it not as hilly so that we can have a flat surface for all of our big water tanks and everything that we've got going on. So I'm just going to slowly start cropping out this space and kind of leveling all this terrain to make it super flat so that we have a very even building surface. And then I want to start kind of defining what these peninsulas are going to be looking like. So maybe we can have one jet out all the way over here. This could maybe be the one that goes the furthest out. And then of course we have this little island, which would be really cool. I'm just gonna flatten it a little bit, separate it a little bit more so that it's a little bit more separated. And then I want to kind of square this part off and then bring this out just a little bit more to give us a little bit more room, and then square that off as well. I kind of like the shape of this, so I'm gonna leave it a little bit more rounded, but I'm just gonna flatten this side out just a little bit to kind of meet up over here with this edge like that. And then we'll flatten out this shoreline as well, and then kind of create a little bit of a peninsula over here and cut back into the hills just a little bit. I'm also just going to get rid of all of the vegetation really quick. For some silly reason, I can't seem to manage to get rid of these trees no matter what I do, so we are just going to leave them, and hopefully they will disappear as we start to place some of the buildings. But before that, I do want to flatten out or soften this terrain just a little bit more so that it's not just a huge cliff, which would be cool, but it's not what we're going for. So we're just going to soften this out just a little bit more. And I want to also kind of create some sort of smaller incline to this road, because this is a lot of terrain, and if there's huge trucks coming through here, I want to make sure that they are not having to go up some outrageous slope. So we're just going to level it out over here and then kind of cut back, and we're just going to make this just a little bit wider so that maybe the trucks can go over on this side as well. So now we're just going to soften the terrain just a little bit, get it super smooth. I kind of like having there be a little rock here. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, like discrepancy between the terrain and the water as well. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so now I really need to think about how I want to go about building this complex. So we obviously need a water treatment plant, which isn't super huge. So I'm thinking we could place this maybe on this peninsula over here. And then I want to get in this small coal power plant as well, which is a little bit bigger. I'm thinking maybe we can sneak it over on this side, or maybe even put it at an angle in this area right here, so it kind of goes along with the shoreline maybe. I'm just gonna be building out the roads, and then I will get back to you and see what we come up with. Okay, now that we've partially got the road layout figured out, which took me way too long to do, we've got all of our keys in, and I think the shape of it is looking really nice. And we've got this big collector road that hooks up to the other to provide ample access for our trucks. And I am now going to try and see where we can fit everything at. So let's begin with the water treatment plant. I think this could go right here on the water. I think that would look really cool. And there we go. We've got our milestone 3 unlocked. We have gotten up to a large village. We got more money, which is perfect. And yeah, I can't wait to see what we've got unlocked. But now we've got our water treatment plant, which is amazing. I think we only need that for now. But I would like to try and incorporate this Japanese water treatment plant in as well at some point. However, I don't really want to spend the money on it, and I don't want to have to pay for the upkeep costs at the moment. So we are just going to not worry about that, and we're going to worry about our electricity instead. So here we've got our small coal power plant. They can go right here on this other side, which looks amazing. I love this asset. It looks so good. I think it's perfect. So we've got our water treatment plant and our power plant right across from each other, which is perfect. I can't wait to get these up and running, and so we can start making some money and not have to export all of our power. Okay, I added just a couple of other roads because along with our power plant, I also want to place another transformer station so that we can connect the power plant to the transformer station and we can start getting energy into the city just like that. And we won't have to worry about a bunch of power lines or anything. And I want to also include a small parking lot as well. So let's get that placed in really quick. So I placed in this modest parking lot, but I also went ahead and placed in the long parking lot as well to make sure that this power plant also has a bunch of parking for its workers. And now I also want to include parking lots for the water treatment plant as well. So let's go ahead and put those in. Okay, so I ended up putting this moderate parking lot in facing towards the bay. I think that would be so fun. As you're driving to work to go work at the water treatment plant, you're going along the road and you get to park with a great view of the bay. I think it's going to be so fun for all of the workers. You know, give them a little bit more reason to want to go to work every day. A little bit of a view before you are trapped in a building all day. Now that we have got all of our assets placed in for this new electricity water management complex, I want to go ahead and start detailing it and add in maybe a couple other buildings that we can use as like sort of the administration side of all of these businesses and, you know, really get this place looking nice. So I'm going to go ahead and start detailing and I'll get right back to you. Okay, here is the somewhat finished product of all of the detailing and just making this area look a little bit more put together. I liked the idea of lining these pathways with bushes and also getting some more industry. This one isn't fully built in yet, but I also changed the surface here to just be concrete, so it looks a little bit more industrial besides all of the greenery that we've got going on. I just wanted to make it look really nice and put together, make it look like someone actually would want to work there. So that's what I was going for when I was doing all of the detailing for that, and I think it looks pretty good. I definitely want to come back and, you know, add some more businesses in here, some offices, something to kind of fill this space up. Maybe the other water treatment plant if we ever need to do that as well. So we'll definitely get back to this area. Right now it's not super finished, but this is the somewhat finished product that we are going to go with. So along with this, I was looking at our budget and it looks like we are making some money off of our export, which is great. However, we still are losing money in our maintenance and resources. So I'm just going to decrease our budget just a little bit so that we can start having a positive income. And while this is going to decrease the export value just a little bit because we aren't producing as much electricity as we would like, we still are not going to be spending as much money on the maintenance. We can always increase this as well if we need more electricity, but right now we have a positive income for electricity, which is really good because there is a lot of red on this side of the screen, which is not the best. And I'll also go ahead and decrease some of the budget for the other services as well, some down to 50 because these were really high and we're just losing so much money, and we still have enough coverage to last us. So as we start building in more residences and more businesses, we're going to be increasing these ever so slightly to accommodate for the need. But now that we've got all of that figured out, the last things that I want to do in this episode is really get in our downtown area and really start kind of developing that. So with that, I want to start building some of the medium density residential houses, get some more people up in here, and expand more on our industry as well. I have a little bit of a plan on the other side of the highway where the waste management is, so let's head over there. Okay, over here on this side of the highway, I do want to expand this road layout just a little bit more. I want to bring in some more roads that are going to be kind of following the edge of the highway. So I want to bring something down in here. I'm going to snap to geometry, and then we're going to just bring that down a little bit and then curve it around so that it's pretty close to the highway. And then we're just going to make this follow it all the way down just like that. And then I want to bring this road out and connect that up, and I want to bring this road out and connect that up at a 90-degree angle down here. Hopefully just like that. That's perfect. So now we've got a little bit more space. I think we could do something where we draw another road that goes across, hopefully on this axis, and then it'll just connect up over here as well. So now we've got a little bit more space and a little bit more road to work with. And I also want to bring this road out all the way over here as well. And then I want to also build off of this collector road and bring this down and around to meet up with this road as well. And I want it to follow along the coast just like that. And then we're going to bring this road over as well, and we will hook it up to this outer ring road and then bring in another crossroad here. So now we've got a little bit more road infrastructure on this side of the highway as well that kind of contours to our existing highway. I do want to put some industry on this side of the street as well, since we have all of this land over here, and then as well as put a lot of industry in here and make it look really, really nice. So let's go ahead and get some of the industry zoned in, and I will get right back to you. Now, as we've got this being zoned in, I do want to create some sort of barrier between the highway and all of the industry. So we're just going to put down some trees to create more of a greenery barrier so that you don't just look straight at industry as soon as you're coming into the city, and that you don't also just see it or smell it or anything like that, and the noise as well. So we've got a little bit of a greenery barrier to help with that as well, and just make it look a little bit nicer. But now we are just going to be letting this industry zone in, and while that is happening, we are going to move on to our final project, is the downtown area. Now, we definitely aren't going to be finishing the downtown. I want to include some more of these taller buildings. I imagine this is going to be one of the bigger cities in this county, so I want to definitely make sure that we leave some space for all of these taller businesses that I want to try and get in here. But for now, I want to prioritize low density commercial and medium density residential. So I'm just going to go in and kind of develop this side of the downtown a little bit and down here, and we will start getting all of these new businesses and residences zoned in and just fill it out just a little bit and make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, we have filled in this section of the downtown area. I've split it between regular medium density row housing and then the USA Northeast row housing as well, and between the additional regular apartment medium density housing too, so that we get some of these bigger buildings in there. I want to try and elevate the skyline just a little bit, you know, get some height up in here as well. And then for the commercial, I switched between some of the USA Northeast low density businesses, the Southwest, and the regular low density as well to get some variation up in here. And now while these are all zoning, I definitely want to continue building out this road infrastructure down here on this coast. I want to finish this out so that we can start building some more houses alongside the coast as well, get some more waterfront housing up in here too, so that we can just get some more houses and make it look all really nice and beautiful. I think it'll look awesome. Okay, I just finished filling in this area with more housing, and it looks like some of these buildings are starting to be zoned in. See, this is perfect. I love getting this kind of density in here. I think it's going to look really great. I'm also really liking the color that we're getting in here. These like purple houses, I think that brings in such a cool vibe to the downtown. Like, it's not all just like bland, meek housing. It's like blue and purple and red. I think it looks really, really cool, and definitely bringing some variety, which I think is so fun, and it looks just amazing. Now I'm just going to be placing a couple of alleys in here. I want to try and get some, you know, back alley action going in. I think it would look really cool. Obviously we can't really fit it here or there, but for these two blocks we definitely can, so I will. And I think it'll just be another kind of level of detail for, you know, maybe dump trucks go back there to get the trash out of their alleyway or anything like that. I'm also going to be putting some trees in here as well to kind of, you know, spruce it up a little bit. Hey, you get it? You get it? Because, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm just going to be adding a little bit more vegetation in here, trying to as best as I can. I don't think it's going to fit in there. But definitely just get some more vegetation in here, you know, get some greenery, make it look a little bit better, a little bit nicer. We're definitely going to be detailing it a bunch later. I definitely want to continue detailing this part of the suburbs as well. I think that it's in desperate need. But I think we will be doing that in a next episode as well. We did a lot today. We've expanded the downtown area, we've expanded the industry area, we've got our water and electricity complex down as well, and we're really making some big strides with this city. So I think that is going to be the end of today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to, see where the downtown takes us and, keep developing the city and see where it goes. I think it's going to look fantastic. I know I haven't been doing a lot of detailing, but it's already been taking me long enough just to get all of the roads down and all of residences and businesses and all the zoning as well. So we were definitely going to be detailing in future episodes, as well as getting more education down, some more industry, and really maxing out our profit. We still are losing a little bit of money, but it is not horrible. It's only about 10,000, so it's not super bad. I think that we could definitely, be increasing that in the next episode or two, hopefully, because otherwise we are going to run out of money, and that's not going to be good. But for now, please enjoy the ending cinematics. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a huge thumbs up, comment down below any ideas or comments or anything like that, and also make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, truly. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.